Inshallah, let's begin. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Fa'awzu billahi min ash-shaytanir rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Allahumma fakihna fid din. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa 'amalan mutaqabbalan wa rizqan tayyiban. اللهم اهدي قلبي وسدد لساني واصل سخيمة قلبي آمين يا رب العالمين. Inshallah, we will go over the du'as that we were doing. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first dua, Rabbi ighfir warham wa anta khayrul rahimin. Okay, my Lord, forgive me and have mercy, for you are the best of those who show mercy. Again, رَبِّ اغْفِرْ وَارْحَمْ وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. The next dua, the dua for seeking Allah's forgiveness. أَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ رَبِّي مِنْ كُلِّ ذَنْبٍ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْهِ. Okay, I seek forgiveness of my sins from Allah, who is my Lord, and I turn towards Him. Again, these du'as, we should be making note of them. These are the last few days and the blessed nights that are left with us. So this is a time for us to really increase in our du'as. The next dua, ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. O Allah, accept it from us. Indeed, you are the most hearing and all-knowing. So this is the dua for acceptance of our deeds. Okay, again, this is a really important dua. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. The next dua, the dua for breaking the fast. Again, we should know generally this dua, and it is said at the time of breaking the fast. ذهب الظمأ وابتلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. My thirst is gone, my veins are moistened, and the reward is assured with the permission of Allah. The next dua. This is a really important dua. We should have it memorized. And this is a dua that we make in the nights, that the last 10 nights that we seek Laylatul Qadr. The dua is Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'afu anni. Oh Allah, indeed you are the most forgiving. You love forgiveness. You love to forgive. So forgive me. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'afu anni. Okay, so inshallah bismillah, we will go into our lesson for today. So today is the second last session of our Dawra Quran, and our ending or takmil will be on Friday, inshallah. So today's surah that we will be doing is Surah Al-Alaa. So we'll be starting from Surah Al-Alaa. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Sabbih isma rabbika al-Ala. Okay, so Surah Al-Ala and Surah Al-Ghashiyah, these are the surahs that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to recite on the days of Eid or Eidain, both of the Eids. And if the Eid and Jum'ah, they both fell on the same day, then again Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would recite Surah Al-Ala and Surah Al-Ghashiyah on these days. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى. Glorify the name of your Lord the Most High. Meaning, say Subhana Rabbiyal Ala. So say Subhana Rabbiyal Ala, Sabbih Isma Rabbikal Ala. Glorify Allah. So this means saying when we say Subhana Rabbiyal Ala. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa, the one who created and perfectly fashioned you. So not that Allah just only created us, He just not only created us from nothing, He also made us so perfect. He made us our form so perfect. الذي قدر فهدى, and then the one who ordained precisely and inspired accordingly. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He not just created us, He did not just make us so perfect, but He also made the qadr, our destiny, what is going to happen in our life. وَالَّذِي أَخْرَجَ الْمَرْعَى, then not just what's going to happen in our life, the next thing that Allah did was He provided provision for us. So He provided our means of sustenance, how we will feed. And this is the reason why we have to glorify Allah, because of all these beautiful blessings that not only He created the human being, He put the sustenance of human beings in place. Okay. فجعله غثاء أحوى, then it when reduces it to a withered shaft. Okay, so the pasture grows, and then meaning the plants grow, and they die. سنقرئك فلا تنسى, we will have you recite the Quran, O Prophet, so you will not forget any of it. So what does this mean? Recitation of the Quran and repetition of the Quran. So this is very important, that Quran, it should not just be memorized, but it should also be repeated, so that the Quran, a person does not forget the Quran. Because from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he said, verily the Quran leaves the person's mind the way of if a camel that is not tied, it leaves and it runs away from its master, meaning so quickly. Okay, so we should be very careful, and it's actually a sin if you forget the Quran. So when we have memorized the Quran, how much little we have to keep revising it. And Ramadan, of course, is the best time to keep revising the Quran, and this is a time to form habits, so we continue after Ramadan. إلا ما شاء الله, unless Allah wills otherwise. إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى, He surely knows what is open and what is hidden. Allah knows what is apparent, and Allah knows what is hidden. وَنُيَسِّرُكَ لِلْيُسْرَى, we will facilitate for you a way of ease. So Allah, فَذَكِّرْ إِن نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى, and so always remind with the Quran, even if the reminder is only beneficial for some. Meaning, keep reminding people about the Quran, keep reminding them about the Quran, even if some people do not take heed from the Quran, some people do not take Quran seriously. Our job is to keep reminding with the Quran. Okay? So only some people, the one who are the people who will benefit from the Quran? سَيَذَكَّرُ مَن يَخْشَى, those in awe of Allah will be mindful of it. Meaning only the ones who have the khashya of Allah in their Quran is not it's not the Quran only benefits the one who really is fearful of their Lord, who care about Allah, who care about this hidayah. The Quran is then beneficial for that person. So but it will be shunned by most wretched. The wicked people who read the Quran. الذي يصلى النار الكبرى, who will burn in the greatest fire. Why? What was the reason? Because they left the Quran. ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. What is the state of people in the Jahannam? It's either they're alive, not they're dead. If a person will wish to die, they will not die. If a person wants to live, they will not live. It's a terrible state. Okay, it's a terrible, even in dunya, as mentioned earlier, when a person is suffering, what is the last thing that could happen to the person? The person will die. But in Jahannam, the person will not be able to die. That's that. Successful are the ones who purify themselves, who do tazkiyah. Tazkiyah means purification. Tazkiyah cleaning one's heart. Cleanliness in one's heart. Okay. أفلح من تزكى. Okay. When a person's heart is cleaned, when a person's heart is cleansed, وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. Remember the name of your Lord and pray. Then a person is able to remember Allah. Right? Whatever is on the heart comes on the tongue. Right? And whatever is, if good is in the heart, the good will come on the tongue. Right? That is why a person's akhlaq is very important. Akhlaq of a person is a shadow of what's inside the heart. If the heart is not clean, then the behavior of the person will be very bad. Filth will come out of their mouth. They will yell, they will scream, they will say hurtful things. If the heart, what's the first step? Of that person. Okay? وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. And then with the zikr of Allah, what happens? So zikr is through the tongue, and salah is prayer is through the limbs. So it's a three-part. What is Iman? Going back to definition of Iman, Iman is to believe in the heart, to say from the tongue, and to show through one's action. And exactly this is how Allah describes it here. When a person believes in their heart, cleanse their heart, the person also shows us through their tongue, and it's shown through their limbs. And that's the last part. Okay. So the main thing, the beginning step is cleaning the heart first. The heart is not clean, then the tongue is bad, and all actions are void. Okay. But tu'thiruna al-hayat ad-dunya. But you deniers only prefer the life of this world. Meaning dunya is your priority. That's why you rush everything. Nothing good comes out of the mouth. People use their tongue for very useless speech. And in terms of actions too, even if someone is praying, they're rushing through their salah because they want to get to the worldly affairs. Okay. بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. Allah is saying that even though people prefer and rush through the matters of the deen just because they can get their dunya, but the akhirah is better and everlasting. Yes, the akhirah is better and everlasting. Inna hadha lafi suhufil ula. This is certainly mentioned in the earlier scriptures, meaning the scriptures suhufi Ibrahim wa Musa, in the suhuf of Ibrahim wa Musa. So this idea of tazkiyah and zikr and of prayer is also mentioned. This is not only for the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but also it is mentioned in the Suhufi Ibrahim and Suhufi Musa. Okay, so this was given to the previous nations as well. The tazkiyah, the zikr, and also salah. Even previous nation performed salah, but in a different way than us. Okay, next surah. Surah Al-Ghashiyah.
هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hal ataka hadithul ghashiyah. Has the news of the overwhelming event come to you, O Prophet? So ghashiyah is a name used to describe the Jahannam. Okay, ghashiyah is another name for the Jahannam, and is used to describe the Jahannam. Wujuhu yawma is in khashiyah. On that day, some faces will be downcast, meaning those people who will be downcast or who will be humiliated will be the people who used to show off in this dunya. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only accept the deeds that are done for His sake. So those people used to show off, they will be humiliated, even though they want to look so good in front of people, but in front of Allah and in front of the whole world, they will be humiliated. Amilatun nasiba, totally overburdened and exhausted. Why will these people be exhausted? Because their amal was not done for the sake of Allah. When an action, even though the action apparently looks very righteous, looks very Islamic, okay, this person looks very pious, but if the intention behind is to impress people, so people say how good of a person this is, on the day of judgment this person will be exhausted, because this action was only done, it was done, even the work of deen, so-called work of deen, was done just to show off to people, or just to show how righteous they were. So they will be totally exhausted on the day of judgment. Tasla narun hamia, burning in a scorching fire. Tusqa min aynin aniya, left to drink from the scalding spring. So their drink will be the burning water of the Jahannam. ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع, they will not have food except a foul thorny shrub, meaning the food of the people of Jahannam will be a really dry thorny a plant, and this will scratch down their throat, and it will burn their insides. This is the kind of food it will be. Even in dunya, for example, just take dry bread. If you have dry bread and you have to eat that, even people have problem, they want some butter, they want some jam, they want something on it, so that some, at least some oil, or olive oil or bread or something like that to eat with, so that the dry bread feels really dry to eat. So imagine eating, imagine that if something that is not just dry, it's thorny, it's bitter, and it doesn't, food is supposed to provide nourishment. That is the purpose of food, and nourishment and fulfillment, so you feel filled. The food of Jahannam will neither nourish a person, or nor it will make them feel full. They will still be hungry even after eating this food. لا يسمن لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع, neither nourishing nor satisfying their hunger. وجوه يومئذ ناعمة, on that day other faces will be glowing with bliss, the other faces will be happy. Who are the people whose face will be glowing? لسعيها راضية, fully pleased with their striving. They will be happy with all the actions that they did in this world, because these actions were done for Allah. في جنة عالية, in an elevated garden. لا تسمع فيها لاغية, there will be where no idle talk will be heard, because in dunya they were not engaged in idle talk, in useless speech, in harmful, hurtful speech. This is not something they will hear in the hereafter as well. فيها عين جارية, in it will be running spring. There will be a spring that will be flowing in Jannah. فيها سرر مرفوعة, along with throne raised high, وأكواب موضوعة, and cups set at hand. So cups will be laid out for the people of Jannah, and beautifully laid out in front of them, and they'll be reclining on the wanamariku masfufa, and fine cushion lined up. So cups are set up, cushions are lined up, they're comfortably sitting and enjoying in, and you have to see the contrast and appreciate it when Jahannam is described and Jannah is described, and how comforting, just the description of Jannah is so comforting. It brings beauty even to just imagine. It brings beauty and coolness to the heart to think about Jannah. وَنَمَارِقُ مَصْفُوفَةً, and fine cushion lined up, وَزَرَابِيُّ مَبْثُوثَةً, and splendid carpet spread out. Just the things we like in dunya, beautiful carpets, cushions, nice couch, comfortable couch. This is all going to be in Jannah. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Allah says, so here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala drives the attention to His creation. And here He talks about ibil, which is a camel. Do they not reflect on camels, how they were masterfully created? Why camel? Because camel was a big commodity, it was a big deal for the Arabs. Arabs, and they used to, something that a person is obsessed with, they look at each and every detail of that thing. Like, some people who are obsessed with cars, they know each and every detail of that car, how fast, the fuel, the range, or everything. And what's a new model that's coming. So similarly for the desert, there was the camel worthy cars of the desert, right? So they used to admire it, and look at the ibil, and the Arabs used to ponder just looking at the camel. Okay, this camel, and they would be so particular. They'd know, okay, this camel has grown up this much, and they'll be like measuring it. And it's not just for travel. Camel also provided food and was a source of food, and was a source of meat, and source of the skin of the camel was used for various things. Okay, وإلى السماء كيف رفعت, and the sky how it was raised high. وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت, and the mountains how they were firmly set up. وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت, and the earth how it was leveled out, how it was made comfortable. فذكر إنما أنت مذكر, so continue to remind, O Prophet, for your duty is only to remind. Continue reminding the people. And this is a lesson for us too, that whoever, when we call people to Allah, whether it's our family members, whether it's children, whether it's the parents, whether it's anyone, whether it's a spouse. Okay, so we're talking about right now, even especially the closest people to us, our duty is to keep reminding. Our duty is to keep calling, because even Allah is saying to the Prophet, "O Prophet, your job is to just remind." When people come to deen, the hidayah, the guidance is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر. You are not there to compel them to believe. You cannot force someone to believe. Iman comes if the person wants to, if they really want to believe, they will believe. That will come. But your job is to keep reminding. إِلَّا مَنْ تَوَلَّى وَكَفَرَ, but whoever turns away, persisting in disbelief, فَيُعَذِّبُهُ اللَّهُ عَذَابَ الْأَكْبَرِ, then Allah will inflict upon them a major punishment. Inna ilayna iyabahum, surely to us is their return. Whether they come, they believe in this dunya or they don't, everyone is going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every single person, every moment of the day, every minute that passes, every day that passes, we're getting closer to Allah. Right? Whether that person believes in Allah or does not believe in Allah. Summa inna alayna hisabahum. And once a person returns to Allah, what begins? Their hisab begins. And then surely with us is their reckoning, their hisab. Surah Al-Fajr.
والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So Surah Al-Fajr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins the surah by taking oath by things sometimes of the day or days that are very important, especially for ibadah. So but wal Fajr, by the dawn. And what is there? The Fajr time is a time for the first salah of the day, the Fajr. Okay, and even Quran recited in Fajr, the Qurans are recited in Fajr is a witness for a person on the day of judgment. Okay, walayalin ashr, and by the 10 nights. What 10 nights? So in Arabic, the nights also refers to day. It's the word layal is also sometimes used to refer to the daytime as well. And here it is said this refers to the first 10 days of Zulhijjah. The first 10 days of the month of Zulhijjah, these are the best 10 days of the year. Okay, and actions performed in these first 10 days of Zulhijjah cannot be compared to any other actions performed in any other days of the year. Okay, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there are no days greater and more beloved to Allah than these 10 days of Zulhijjah. So increase in them your declaration of oneness of Allah, meaning La ilaha illallah. So doing tahleel, which is La ilaha illallah, then takbir, Allahu Akbar, and tamheed, Alhamdulillah. So this is the actions that should be, these are the words that should be said, especially in the 10 days of Zulhijjah. Zulhijjah is the month that we perform Hajj in. Okay, washaf'i wal watr, and by the even and the odd. Odd is one meaning, Odd starts 1357, right? So odd here referring to Allah. Allah is one, Allah is odd, and even meaning his creation. Allah created creation in opposites, in the even. Walayli iza yasr, and the night when it passes. And here it is said this is a time of the night, especially when the night passing, meaning this is a time of the night which is the last part of the night, the tahajjud, the time right before fajr. Right, and there's a times nowadays, alhamdulillah, all of us are striving to catch the qiyam and do the qiyam, because these are the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and we do not know which day it is the Laylatul Qadr, right? So here Allah is taking oath by these times of days, that are days or times of days that are most important for worship. هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر, is is all this not sufficient oath for those who have sense, meaning the one who has intellect? These are times they need to be making use of, they need to be taking full benefit from. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد, did you not see how your Lord dealt with Ad, the people of Ad, to whom Hud alayhi salam came? إرم ذات العماد, the people of Iram with their great statures. The place was called Iram, and these people, the people of Ad, they used to build huge buildings. Okay, this was التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد, unmatched in any other land, meaning they were great architects, they were great engineers. They were very strong and they were not like not even our height. They used to be really tall, really strong, and without machinery these used to build all these buildings. وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد, and Thamud who carved their homes in the rocks in the stone valley, meaning Thamud used to they used to carve in the mountains. And just building in the mountain itself is a very heavy task, but they used to build houses inside the mountains. وفرعون ذي الأوتاد, and the Fir'aun of mighty structures. الذين طغوا في البلاد, they all transgressed throughout the land. Even though the Thamud, the Ad, the people of Fir'aun, they were so strong, they were so powerful, they were rich, but what did they do? They crossed the limits set by Allah. فأكثروا فيها الفساد, spreading much corruption in the land. فصب عليهم ربك صوت عذاب, so your Lord unleashed on them a scourge of punishment. So to all these nations came the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna rabbaka lamil mirsad, and for your Lord is truly vigilant. And if you see the punishment that came to Ad, Thamud, and the people of Fir'aun, how? Through the nature. One was destroyed by scream, by a sound. One was destroyed by like a tornado, like a wind. And one was destroyed by water. So even though they being so strong, they did physically and financially and all the riches, how did Allah SWT destroy them? He didn't send armies. Just by the nature. The things they used to think that they could never imagine that nature would be used against them and destroyed, and they were completely destroyed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna rabbaka labil mirsad, for your Lord is truly vigilant, meaning Allah is watching. Even if a person or a nation is not receiving a punishment, Allah is looking at them, Allah is watching them, Allah is observing them. فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن. Now whenever a human being is tested by their Lord through his generosity and blessings, they boast, my Lord has deservingly honored me. Meaning when a human being gets blessings from Allah, they get blessings, they get whatever they're wanting, any of the blessing, they get so happy that Allah is happy with me, and they boast, they think there's too good, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is blessing them with blessings. Okay, but on the other hand, وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَا بَتَلَاهُ فَقَدَرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانًا. But when he tests them by limiting their provision, they protest, they say, my Lord has humiliated me. Meaning, when Allah gives something to people, they become so happy. They think they deserve it. They think, they work hard, they deserve it, it's rightly so. And on the other hand, when Allah takes away something, then people say, why did Allah do this to me? Why did I lose this? I deserved it. Why did this go away from me? I've been humiliated by Allah. Okay, but we have to realize both getting a blessing and taking away of a blessing are both a test from Allah. Just because someone gets something does not firstly mean that Allah is happy with that person. Nations can get, or people can become, they can get a lot of power, honor, and money. That does not mean that Allah is happy with them. And on the other hand, getting things from Allah, blessings from Allah, does not mean that when the person gets blessing from Allah, it could also be a test from Allah. How are you going to use the blessing? And on the other hand, taking away of something, Allah is the one who gives, Allah can take away, rightly so. Okay, we don't get things because of our effort. We get things because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it. But here Allah is describing the nature or the response of human beings. Kalla bal la tukrimuna al-yatim. Absolutely not. In fact, you are not even gracious to the orphan. You don't even take care of the orphan. Okay, you don't, meaning Allah is saying you don't even deserve all of this. What are your actions? What are the actions of human beings that they don't even care about any orphan in the community? Don't even know about an orphan in the community. Forget about taking care of them. It is narrated, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best house among the Muslims is a house in which there is an orphan who is treated well. And the worst house among the Muslim is a house in which there is an orphan who's treated badly. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, myself and the one who takes care of the orphan will be in paradise like this. And he put his fingers together like this. So the one who takes care of an orphan will be with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's how he showed with the action of his two fingers how they will be with him, right next to him on the day of judgment. وَلَا تَحَادُّونَ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. Nor do you urge one another to feed the poor. So our hearts are so, people want things. Allah is saying human being want blessings. When the blessing is taken away, they start complaining. But look at the nature of human beings. They don't even want to share. Forget about feeding people. They don't encourage others to feed people. Sometimes what happens is one person in the house, they're cooking iftar, and then the other person comes in like, why are you doing this? You just gave iftar yesterday. Or why you just gave charity yesterday. So some people, even when other people are doing it, they have a problem with that. Okay. Here Allah says, وَلَا تَحَادُّونَ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. You stop people from, you don't even encourage others to feed others in the way of Allah. وَتَأْكُلُونَ التُّرَاثَ أَكْلًا لَمًّا. And you devour others' inheritance greedily. Whatever belongs to others, you just take it. Okay? وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا. And love wealth so much. Whether you're getting the money in a halal way, haram way, doesn't matter. Money is coming. Money needs to be coming. Money cannot be going. Okay, so you love wealth so much that you forget about even the means that it's coming in. كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا. Enough when the earth is entirely crushed over, meaning on the day of judgment. وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا. And your Lord comes to judge with angels ranks upon ranks, meaning the angel and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the angels and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come on the day of judgment, and the angels will be in a saf, in a row. وَجِيءَ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِجَهَنَّمَ. And the hell is brought forth on that day. This is when every disbelieving person will remember. يَوْمَئِذٍ يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ وَأَنَّ لَهُ الذِّكْرَى. And on this day, every disbelieving person will remember that what their own sins were. Okay, but what is the use of this remembering? Even if a person remembers all their sins and starts forgetting, there is no point on the day of judgment. Okay, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, on the day of judgment, the hell will be brought on that day with 70,000 reins, meaning so there will be 70,000 sort of like ropes holding the hellfire, and each rein carried by 70,000 angels. So 70,000 ropes, and each rope has 70,000 angels. So thousands and thousands of angels will be holding onto the hellfire. يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي. The person, the moment they see the hellfire, they will say, I wish I had sent forth something good for my true life. This is a true life. The hereafter is a true life. This is a temporary life. The person will wish, I wish I did something good. Right here, Allah is reminding you don't even want to feed other people. You don't even take care of the orphan. In fact, you just want to get money, front and back. You just want to get money without even thinking what's the source of that money. The heart is so constricted. And now the person will say on the day of judgment, I wish I could just have spent a little bit. I wish I could have done some charity. And these are the special days for us to spend in the way of Allah. These months, the last few days of Ramadan that are left, and the days are passing by so swiftly. So spend in the way of Allah, give charity every day, and feed people. Yeah? فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُعَذِّبُ عَذَابَهُ أَحَدٌ. On that day, He will punish them severely like no other. وَلَا يُؤْثِقُ وَثَاقَهُ أَحَدٌ. And bind them tightly like no other. And so this is the state of the people who did not care about the akhirah and whose hearts were so constricted in the dunya. But what, on the other hand, the people who opened up their hearts, who spent, even in a struggling state, they still did spend. They realized that this life is a temporary life, and the hereafter is the permanent life. To them it will be said, Ya ayyatuha nafsul mutma'inna. Allah will say to the righteous, O tranquil soul. Allah will call this soul nafsul mutma'inna. There are three kinds of soul. One is nafsul ammara, the soul that is always attracted to do evil. Then there is nafsul lawama, the soul that is in between. Sometimes does good, sometimes does evil, like in between. And then the third kind of soul is nafsul mutma'inna, the soul that is always striving to do good. And here Allah is saying, oh, so when the person is leaving this world, Allah will call out, يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية. Return to your Lord, well pleased with Him and well pleasing to Him. Meaning, this soul is pleased with Allah and Allah is pleased with the soul. Both are happy. This soul is pleased with Allah. How? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Verily, the believer is in a good shape in every situation. He praises Allah even when his soul is taken out of the body." Why is the believer praising Allah as the soul is leaving the body? Is because they know that their end is good. They're given the good news of their end. Okay, as the soul is being taken out of the body, the angels are giving the good news to the soul that you have, you have passed the test. And so the soul is happy to leave, pleased with Allah. Okay? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when the soul of a believer departs, it is met by two angels who takes it up. So the angels take the soul up, and he mentioned that it's good fragrance of musk. So good smell is coming out of the soul. As the soul is going up, the inhabitants of the heaven, meaning the other angels, the good soul has been taken up, and the other angels in the heavens, they say, a good soul that has come from the earth, may Allah bless you and the body in which you used to dwell. Then he's taken up to his Lord, and then he says, take it to his destined end. فَدَخُلِي فِي عِبَادِي. So join my servants. Where? So this is happening before the day of judgment, right? There's a life, there's our life before we die, and then there's a life in between as the soul waits for the day of judgment. And that is a life that's the life of barzakh. And this soul that is leaving, this soul is kept in Illiyin. Illiyin is a place where all the righteous souls are gathered on the day before the day of judgment arrives. Okay, so here the soul is with who? The soul is with other righteous souls. So the souls is waiting with other righteous souls, and this, what's the criteria that the souls are gathered? They're all on tawheed and they did good actions. Amalu wa amilu salihat. And this is the criteria. And it will be said that the soul will ask about so and so person who used to be in the dunya, and the other souls will say, no, that soul is not here, meaning that soul is in Sijin, which is the lowest part of the earth, where all the evil souls are kept. So again, a person cannot be together just because they belong to a family. They have to be believing, and they will be only gathered with the other believers. فَدْخُلِي فِي عِبَادِي وَدْخُلِي جَنَّتِي, and enter my paradise. So this person on the day of judgment will enter the paradise with along with the other souls that it used to be in the Illiyin. Surah Al-Balad.
لا أقسم بهذا البلد وأنت حل بهذا البلد ووالد وما ولد لقد خلقنا الإنسان في كبد أيحسب أن لن يقدر عليه أحد.
Surah Al-Balad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. La uqsimu bihadha al-balad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes an oath by this balad. Which city is this? This is the city of Rasul, Makkah. Okay, and why is this city beloved? Why is Allah, whenever Allah in the Quran takes an oath by something, it means that thing is important. And why is the city important? Because وَأَنْتَ حِلٌّ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ, because this is the city Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born in. This is the city where the Kaaba is, where the house of Allah is. Okay, وَأَنْتَ حِلٌّ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ, even though, O Prophet, are subject to abuse in this city, meaning that even though you are and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was removed out of expelled from the city of Makkah, even though that was his birthplace. So here Allah is saying, you will return back to this city. Don't worry. Okay, inshallah, bismillah, Allah will bring you back to this city and Makkah will be conquered. Okay. وَوَالِدٍ وَمَا وَلَدٍ, and by the parent and their child. So who is the parent here? Meaning, walid means refers to Adam alayhi salam, our first parent. Okay, and walad meaning his descendants. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ, indeed we have created humanity in constant struggle. Human being is in a constant struggle because this world is a test. From the moment they are born, coming out of the womb of the mother itself is a struggle for a child. It's a painful process especially for the mother, and it's not easy for the child as well. When the child is little, the child is young, then it's the only way of communicating is through crying. And yet the parent has to figure out why they're crying. Is it because of food? Is it because they need a change? Is it because they're uncomfortable? So this is kabad, this is difficulty. That when the child starts walking, what happens? They're falling, they're getting hurt. So it's kabad. Every stage of a human being is kabad, it is difficulty. And people should be prepared for the difficulty because this life is a test. أَيَحْسَبُ أَنْ لَنْ يَقْدِرَ عَلَيْهِ أَحَدٌ, do they think that no one has power over them? Meaning human being is so weak. At every step they're trembling. At every step of their life, they're passing it through a difficulty. But do they think that no one has power over them? يَقُولُ أَهْلَكْتُ مَالًا لُبَدًا, boasting, I have wasted enormous wealth. When they get wealth, the evil people, what do? They show off their wealth. And it is said that Abu Lahab's wife, she had a really expensive necklace, and she would show off and around that necklace and be like, I'm going to use this necklace to destroy Rasulullah. I'm going to sell it, use all the money that I get from it, and use it against Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And wasting of money, and this refers to people who waste their money for the purpose of show off. Once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came back from an expedition and he saw that Aisha radiallahu anha, she had hung a piece of fabric on the door, on their uh, door made of mud. And he showed some kind of discomfort looking at it. And Aisha radiallahu anha, she immediately removed it. And at that point, he said, Allah does not give us command to dress stones and mud, meaning do not waste your money in things that are not useful. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a person will be rewarded for their spending except for what they spend on dust or building, meaning people who build just structures which are of no use, statues and structures which is just there, and it's not something that people can inhabit, people can live, or it's of no benefit except to show off. Okay, people are not living in there, people are not benefiting from anything. So basically building tombs and building structures or figures for no reason, which is of no benefit, and money spent on it, money spent uselessly. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, 2 feet of son of Adam will not move on the day of judgment until he is asked a couple of questions. And one of the question is, what did you do with it? How did you earn your wealth and what did you do with it? How did you make the money and what did you do with the money? So wasteful spending. People who spend too much money for decoration purposes. Okay. أَيَحْسَبُ أَنْ لَنْ يَرَهُ أَحَدٌ. Do they think no one sees them? أَلَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُ عَيْنَيْنِ. Have we not given them 2 eyes? وَلِسَانٌ وَشَفَتَيْنِ. And a tongue and 2 lips. وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. And showed them the 2 ways of right and wrong. These are the blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to the human beings. And in the end, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed us 2 ways, 2 paths, the right and the wrong. فَلَقْتَحَمَ الْأَقَبَةِ. If only they had attempted the challenging path of goodness instead. The path of good is hard. There are 2 paths, and the path of evil seems easy, but it leads to a difficult end. And the path of good is difficult, but it leads to an easy end. Okay? وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْعَقَبَةُ. And what will make you realize what attempting this path is? What is this path? فَكُّ رَقَبَةٍ. It is freeing of a slave. So one the good deeds, the good that a person can strive on this path is freeing of a slave, or helping someone in debt, or freeing of an innocent prisoner. Okay? أو إطعام في يوم ذي مسغبة. Or to give food in times of famine, to spend to feed people, those who are specially extremely hungry. Okay, a person came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "Tell me about a deed which will make Jannah obligatory on me. Like Allah will give me Jannah for sure. Tell me a deed." And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Good speech and feeding people, good akhlaq, kind words, and feeding other people. This will make Jannah obligatory on a person." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The best of you are those who feed others." Okay. Also, alhamdulillah, with the help of with the help of Allah and the assistance of all of our community members, we were able to feed more than provide food packages for more than 80 people in Pakistan. And also recently we also did an iftar for about 200 people in Pakistan, provided for them. So people who are extremely needy in hunger, and zi masghaba. And now our next goal is raising for the people who are in extreme distress, not just food but medical aid, in the people of Gaza, with human concern. And we know that food is not reaching to some parts, or very little food is getting there, and a lot of zulm is happening there. This is what the Quran, this is what these surahs talk about. The path to Jannah is a path of relieving distress of others. That, and if we are in a position to relieve this distress, then why not use our wealth? And these are the few blessed days are left. So make use of it, and every day spend to feed other people, to provide hot meals to people who are in extreme hunger. Yatiman za maqraba, to an orphan relative. So spending on relative has double reward. How does spending on relative has double reward? Number one, it is sadaqah. You get reward for doing sadaqah. And number two, you get reward for enjoining ties of kinship. Because when you spend on the relatives, it's also that you are strengthening your relationship with them. So you get double the reward. Okay. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Of the dinar you spend as a contribution in Allah's path, or to set free a slave, or as sadaqah given to a needy, or to support your family, the best reward is when a person spends on their family." So even a person, when they spends to get grocery for their family, it's a really good deed. And the one who spends in the for their family, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala writes down two, not just one, but two good deeds for them. أو مسكينا ذا متربة, or to a poor person in distress. ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة, and above all to be one of those who have iman and urge each other to persevere and urge each other to compassion. Okay, when a person is doing all of this, when a person has iman, what's the thing that they need to do? They need to be patient. The first thing they need to be patient, and they need to encourage others to be patient. Okay, in the path of doing good deeds, it's not easy. You're going to be struggling. You're going to face backlash from people, sometimes difficulty in your own self. So what you need to do, you need to be patient, and urge others to be patient. Okay, and then urge others. Sometimes people's behavior will force another person to behave negatively. So وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالْمَرْحَمَةِ, and enjoin others to be compassionate. Okay. أولئك أصحاب الميمنة. These are the people of the right. People of the right meaning those who will receive their book of deeds in the right hand. والذين كفروا بآياتنا هم أصحاب المشأمة. As for those who deny our signs, they are the people of the left, meaning those who will get the book of deeds in the left hand. And the one who gets the book of deed in the left hand, meaning it's the person who has its bad news. It's the book that has more bad deeds. عليهم نار مؤصدة, the fire will be sealed over them, meaning they won't be able to breathe, meaning that they'll be surrounded by fire from all sides. They will neither live nor die. They'll be suffocating in that fire. Surah Ash-Shams.
والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا, by the sun and its brightness. وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا, and the moon as it follows. وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا, and the day as it unveils it. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا, and the night as it conceals it. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا, and by the heaven and the one who built it. وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا طَحَاهَا, and the earth and the one who spread it. وَالنَّفْسِ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا, and by the soul and the one who fashioned it. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا, and with the knowledge of the right and the wrong inspired in it. Meaning every soul knows the difference between right and wrong. The instinct, human instinct, right? Each person is born with a scale inside them that tells them this is right, this is wrong. Okay, and each person is born with a way to look for Allah, with an instinct. It's a part of our soul to look for Allah. So no one on the day of judgment will complain that I do not know about Allah. No one from whether a person is a non-Muslim or does not follow any God, they cannot say that I do not know about Allah, because it is a part of our soul. And it's also a part of our soul to do good and bad, to differentiate. Because even people who don't believe in Allah still do good, right? So it's a part of our soul to know. Allah put it in part of our soul. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Successful indeed is the one who purifies themselves. Okay, and the one who purifies themselves, not just physically, but they purifies their soul, purifies their heart. And the dua that we should make for the purity of the soul: Allahumma ati nafsi taqwaha. Oh Allah, give my soul taqwa. Make it fearful of you, make it conscious of you. وَزَكِّهَا أَنْتَ خَيْرُ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا, and pure it with the best kind of purity. Anta waliyuha wa maulaha, you are its, meaning the souls. Okay, wali meaning its protector, and maulaha meaning its Lord. So this is a masnoon dua that a person can make for the purification of their soul. قَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, and doomed is the one who corrupts it, meaning has a corrupt soul. كَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودُ بِتَغْوَاهَا, Thamud rejected the truth out of arrogance. The people of Salih alayhi salam, the Thamud, because of their arrogance, their soul was corrupt. Okay, they rejected the truth. Um, إِذِ انبَعَثَ أَشْقَاهَا, when the most wicked of them were roused to kill the she-camel. So they killed the she-camel, which they asked as a sign from Allah. فَقَالَ لَهُمْ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ نَاقَةَ اللَّهِ وَسُقْيَاهَا, but the messenger of Allah warned them, meaning Salih alayhi salam, do not disturb Allah's camel and her turn to drink. فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها. Still they defied him and slaughtered her. So their Lord crushed them for their crime, leveling all to the ground. ولا يخاف عقباها. He has no fear of consequences. What did the Samud do? They killed the she-camel despite asking as a sign from Allah. Okay, and sometimes a sign, someone asks for a blessing and they don't know what the consequences will be. And Samud really wanted to have a she camel come out of a rock. But what was the condition then when the she camel came? That it will drink from their well. And when they saw that the camel was drinking all of their water, they decided to kill it. Okay, so they asked for a blessing, and then on the other hand, they disobeyed Allah. Okay, so here they were met with the consequences of their action. Surah Al-Layl.
والليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق الذكر والأنثى إن سعيكم لشتى فأما من أعطى واتقى.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Surah Al-Layl. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا تَجَلَّى وَمَا خَلَقَ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى. By the night when it covers, and the day when it shines, and by the one who created male and female. So there is no other gender than the male and the female. إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ لَشَتَّى. Surely the end you strive for are diverse, meaning all your efforts are diverse. Each and every human beings, the kind of efforts they put in different things is diverse. It can be positive and negative. The positive is if we are striving in different ways to support the deen of Allah. All different kind of good deeds. And on the other hand, your striving is diverse, meaning every person has different goals. And if the goal is not Allah but other things, then the goal is useless. فَأَمَّا مَنْ عَاطَى وَاتَّقَى, and as for the one who is charitable and mindful of Allah, وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and firmly believes in the finest reward, فَسَيُنَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى, we will facilitate for them the way of ease. Okay, what brings ease in life? What brings ease in life is taqwa of Allah, consciousness of Allah, and good deeds. That brings ease in life. One of the good deeds described here is sadaqah, charity. Again, charity is mentioned. Okay, a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, treat your sick with charity. Meaning, if a person falls ill, if there is illness in the family, give charity. Because giving of charity takes away the sickness. Sometimes it's not even only medicine. And in Islam, it's not, we just only don't believe in the materialistic things, right? If with of course the treatment and the hospitalization and medication, give charity as well. Give sadaqah, because sadaqah removes calamities. The more sadaqah a person gives, the more charity, it removes difficulties from one's path. Okay, and those who keep giving in the way of Allah, they keep getting more opportunities to do good. Okay, وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى, but as for the one who is stingy and indifferent to Allah, وَكَذَّبَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and staunchly denies the finest reward, فَسَيُنَسِّرُهُ لِلْعُسْرَى, we will facilitate for them a path of hardship. Right, the one who withholds who does not spend in the way of Allah, their life becomes hard. Okay, one after the other difficult things come in. And what is the greatest difficulty for a person? The greatest difficulty for a person is to be distant from Allah. Distance from Allah. Okay, between them and Allah is a big distance. Their heart becomes hard. That is the most greatest difficulty. And the ease also means being close to Allah, getting more opportunities to do good, while an evil person gets more opportunities to do evil. وَمَا يُغْنِي عَنْهُ مَالُهُ إِذَا تَرَدَّى. But their wealth will be of no benefit to them when they tumble into hell, meaning their wealth cannot save them from the hellfire. Inna alayna lal huda. It is certainly upon us alone to show them the way to guidance. Wa inna lana lal akhirata wal ula. And surely to us alone belongs this life and the next. فَأَنذَرْتُكُمْ نَارًا تَلَظَّى. And so I have warned you of a raging fire, لَا يَصْلَاهَا إِلَّا الْأَشْقَى, in which none will burn except the most wretched. الَّذِي كَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. Who are the wretched ones who deny and turn away? فَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى. But the righteous will be spared. Who are the righteous? Those who have taqwa. الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى. Who donate some of their wealth only to purify themselves. وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. Not in return for someone's favor. Meaning someone does not spend because they're doing a favor on someone. They spend because Allah has commanded them to do so. Okay? إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْعَالَى. But seeking the pleasure of their Lord the Most High. وَلَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى. They will certainly be pleased. Okay, so when a person does sadaqah, it is a very bad adab to show it as if you're doing a favor on someone, because showing it as if someone or sadaqah or any kind of help or any kind of assistance, when a person does it for someone and then they show as if they're doing a favor, then their whole sadaqah is destroyed, because their intention was not for the sake of Allah, but for other people to be indebted to them or become humble towards them, or more, they expect respect or thanks from people. Okay, then all of their sadaqah is useless. Surah Ad-Duha.
والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wadduha, by the morning sunlight, wallayli iza saja, and the night when it falls. Ma wadda'aka rabbuka wa ma qala. Your Lord, O Prophet, has not abandoned you, nor he has become hateful of you. Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that Allah has not abandoned the Prophet? Because during his revelation, there was a time that the revelation had stopped for a while. There was no revelation coming down, so the people around him started making fun of him. They said, your Lord has left you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They would say that to him. Your Lord has left you. So here Allah is saying, Allah has not left you, O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. And the next life is certainly far better than this one. And what is to come is better. And even in the life of Rasulullah, his life in Medina and after was much better. And before in Mecca is very difficult. So here Allah is saying that what is to come is better for you. وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْتِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. And surely your Lord will give you so much that you will be pleased. And Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Muslims, they were given many victories, and the Muslims in the end were very rich. They conquered a lot of places, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to. There was a difficult period and there was a period of ease. Alam yajidika yatiman fa'awa. Allah is reminding Rasul, look at your past. Look at your past. Did he not find you as an orphan and he sheltered you? So when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he became an orphan, then who took care of him? First his grandfather, then his uncle. So they were different people. So even though his parents were taken away, but Allah made provisions for him. Allah made arrangement for him. وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. Did he not find you unguided and guided you? Meaning that when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would go to the cave of Hira, and he would be alone in the cave of Hira, and he would be looking for guidance. And he would be in a desperate state looking for guidance. So Allah is saying, didn't he find you, didn't he find you in a state of misguidance, or looking for guidance, and found you? So he was not misguided, but he was looking for guidance, and Allah gave him guidance. وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى. And did he not find you needy and then satisfied your needs? And how did he satisfy needs? Through his marriage to Khadija. So Khadija radiallahu anha, once he married her, and she was a rich lady. So she supported Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam through his time, and also in the beginning of Islam. And this was because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ. So do not oppress the orphan. وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. Nor repulse the beggar. When someone comes to ask you for something, do not turn them away. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. And proclaim the blessings of your Lord, and mention the name of your Lord. Okay, whenever you get blessings of Allah, mention them. Okay, and shukr is to proclaim the blessings of Allah. When someone does shukr, they say shukr is to show that you are happy with Allah, what Allah has given you. And how do you show shukr? Not just through your tongue, but also through your actions. Surah Ad-Duha is also a surah that is when someone is in a state of sadness or anxiety, or feeling upset, or feels their heart is constricted, they should recite Surah Duha. Okay, because this is a surah of hope and light. Okay, Surah Al-Inshirah.
ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alam nashrah laka sadrak. Have we not uplifted your heart for you, O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. And relieved you of the burden, الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ, which weighed heavily upon your back. Okay, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he lifted the burden upon from the heart of the Rasulullah, the burden of not knowing Allah. Okay, and by giving him guidance. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. And elevated your name for the mankind. Sorry. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he raised the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam till the end of times. This is the blessing that Allah gave to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that even now, after so many years that he left this dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is elevating his name, meaning that we recite the salawat on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like we even mention after his name, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the adhan is his name is mentioned in the adhan, in the durood. Okay, so many places we send salawat, and this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed Rasulullah. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. So surely with hardship comes ease. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Surely that hardship comes with more ease. Meaning in hardship there is ease. That's one meaning of it. Meaning with anything difficult that happens, Allah has already planned ease for the believer. They don't understand what's the ease in the hardship, but there is ease in a sense that That hardship brings them closer to Allah, and there's ease in for them in the hereafter, because a person gets closer to Allah. And with hardship, when Allah sends something difficult, He already has planned the way out of it. He has planned a way. And a lot of the times hardship come to make us stronger. So there is ease in that. Okay. So فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانصَبْ. So once you have fulfilled your duty, and meaning you're freed up, وَإِلَى رَبِّكَ فَارْغَب. Turn to your Lord alone in hope. Meaning, when you've done all your things and you're freed up in your free time, what should a person be doing in their free time? Turn to Allah, engage in activities. So if for example, you're having a couple of holidays from your job or from school, and it's time, what should you be doing? Not Netflix and chill, not sticking to your Instagram or TikTok or whatever. What needs to be done? Person should be engaged in activities that remind them of Allah, not necessarily only salah and all these things, but for example, the halaqas, or visiting good gathering, or visiting other people. So all actions that are good actions, and also that please Allah. Okay. فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ وَإِلَى رَبِّكَ فَارْغَب. Surah At-Teen.
والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wattini was zaytun, by the fig and the olive, and hereof its fig and olive are also native to Jerusalem, right, to the Palestine. Waturi Sinin, and by the Mount Sinai, which is also located in Palestine. Wahaz al Balad al Amin, and the secure city of Mecca. So Allah SWT taking oath by two places actually. The first is Palestine, Palestine, Jerusalem, and also by Mecca, right? And the three holy places, the three sacred places for Muslims are Mecca, Medina, and Masjid al-Aqsa, the three mosques that a person, and prayer there is much better than prayer than in any other places. So these three places are very important for a believer, and it is also important that as a believer we need to strive to protect these places, right? Al-Aqsa, Jerusalem, and the land of Jerusalem is so it many of the prophets came there. Okay, this is Ardul Muqaddas. This is a sacred land. So this is not an ordinary land that people come and strive to destroy, because this is a land which is sacred for the Muslims, for the believers. وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. Indeed, we created human beings in the best form. Human beings are not like animals. We don't walk on our fours, right? Allah SWT created human beings beautiful. We stand upright. Our bodies are upright, right? And what makes ahsan al-taqweem, meaning in the best form, it's our intellect. And what is best about human beings is that we're able to learn the book of Allah. That makes us different from the rest of the creation. Because of our intellect, we're able to learn the book of Allah. ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ السَّافِلِينَ. But we will reduce them to the lowest of the low. So a person who does not remember Allah in their life, that person, even though Allah has created them in the best form, but that person will become the lowest of the low, worse than animals, Allah SWT says. So what makes a human being a human being? The best creation is when he remembers his Rabb, when he remembers his Lord. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ. Except for those who believe and do good, they will have a never-ending reward. Okay, Ibn Abbas said, the one who studies Quran does not reach Arzalil Umar, meaning the end of, when there's an end of life situation where a person just forgets everything, helpless. So the one who learns Quran, Allah preserves their memory. Even when they forget, people have dementia, and even they forget everything, they still remember the Quran. There's still that is preserved. But the one who in the youth does not spend their time connected with the Quran, then in a difficult state or in an old state, they will not remember the Quran. And they'll be just helpless. Okay? The one who recites the Quran opens the minds and the heart. And Quran memorization also increases the intellect. فَمَا يُكَذِّبُكَ بَعْدُ بِالدِّينِ. Now what will make you deny the final judgment? أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِأَحْكَمِ الْحَاكِمِينَ. Is Allah not the most just of all judges? So Allah is the one who will be judging, and He is the best of judges on the day of judgment. Surah Al-Alaq.
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم.
This is the first surah. Surah Al-Alaq was first surah revealed to Rasulullah. The first 5 verses, actually. The first 5 verses of Surah Al-Alaq was the first revelation that was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when was it revealed? In Ramadan and Laylatul Qadr. Right? This is when it was revealed to the Prophet. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. Read, O Prophet, in the name of your Lord who created you. خلق الإنسان من علق. Allah created human beings from a clot. اقرأ وربك الأكرم. Read, your Lord is the most generous. How is Allah the most generous? الذي علم بالقلم. He taught human beings with pen. Pen was a first creation of Allah. Okay, Allah SWT created pen, and that also shows us the importance of learning. Okay, and respect and dignity of a human being is in seeking knowledge. That's what makes human being that's what makes human beings superior creation, is that they're able to seek knowledge. To seek knowledge of the dunya, the world, and seek knowledge also of the Quran. Okay, علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. Allah taught humanity what they did not know. كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى. Most certainly, human beings exceed all bounds. Even though Allah is so generous, He gave us knowledge, He gave us the ability to gain knowledge, He gave us the tools, right? We're able to write, we have pens, we have paper, we have devices now. So there's so many ways to learn and write. Okay, but what does a person do? He exceeds all bounds. He exceeds the bounds set by Allah. أَرْوَآهُ اسْتَغْنَى. Once they think they're self-sufficient, they don't need anyone. Because Allah gave us the intellect, but the knowledge, some people seek so much knowledge and they're like so qualified, and so they think they don't need anyone. They know everything. Inna ila rabbika ruj'a. But surely to your Lord is the return of all. Ara'ayta allazi yanha. Have you not seen the man who prevents? Here, the one preventing is talking about Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl used to stop Prophet ﷺ from praying at the Kaaba. Abadan iza salla, a servant of ours from praying. أَرَأَيْتَ إِنْ كَانَ عَلَى الْهُدَى. What if the servant is rightly guided, meaning the Prophet? أَوْ أَمَرَ بِالتَّقْوَى, or encourages righteousness? أَرَأَيْتَ إِنْ كَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. What if that man persists in denials and turns away? Talking about Abu Jahl here. أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى. Does he not know that Allah sees it all? Meaning Allah here talking about the people who stop others from praying. Okay. كَلَّا لَئِن لَّمْ يَنْتَهِ لَنَفْسَأً بِالنَّاصِيَةِ. But no, if he does not desist, we will certainly drag him from his forelock. Meaning Allah will drag such people, and here example the Abu Jahl, from his forelock, meaning from his head, from his forebrain, the front of the forehead. Okay. نَاصِيَةٍ كَاذِبَةٍ خَاطِئَةٍ. A lying, sinful forelock. Why this part of the brain, the forebrain? The forebrain is the decision-making part of the brain. Okay, where decisions are made. And this person, Abu Jahl, made a decision to torture and to prevent Rasulullah from praying. فَلْيَدْعُ نَادِيَ. So let him call his associates. سَنَدْعُ الزَّبَانِيَ. And we will also call the warden of hell. Let this person call helpers on the day of judgment in hellfire. Will anyone come to help him? No. But Allah will call the angels of the hellfire, the Zabaniya. كَلَّا لَا تُطِعْهُ وَاسْجُدْ وَاقْتَرِبْ. Again, never obey him, O Prophet, rather continue to prostrate and draw near to him. If people stop you from salah, do not listen to them. Go into sujood and get closer to Allah. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the servant is closest to his Lord during prostration, so increase your supplication in sajda. So what is the spot that in state that a person is closest to Allah in sajda? So as you're going for Taraweeh, as you're doing Qiyam, make du'as for yourself. The best state that a person can make dua is in sajda, in sujood. When their head is touching, when the sujood is the most humble state of a person. Okay, this is also an ayah of sajda. So you can, inshallah, bismillah, you can make quickly make a sajda. Okay, so there are 15 ayahs in the Quran that ask that which are called sajdatul tilawa, where basically, and you'll see a minaret right next to the ayah, which a person only makes one sajda. From the standing state, they go into sajda, okay, and they make their sujood. And if you can quickly display the dua of sajda. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Surah Al-Qadr. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr.
إنا
We'll just continue with the surah. Okay. We'll just continue with the surah without the recitation. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Indeed, it is we who send down this Quran on Laylatul Qadr. Okay, Laylatul Qadr means a night of power. Okay, and the Quran was where? In Lawh al-Mahfuz. It was in a preserved tablet next to the throne. Under the throne of Allah, there is a place where the whole Quran is preserved. And on the Laylatul Qadr, in the month of Ramadan, the Quran came from the seven heavens to the lowest heavens. And from there, over the period of 23 years, started coming to Rasulullah. Over his lifetime, from the lowest heavens, okay? And from there until, and for 23 years, it came down to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Indeed, it is we who send this Quran down on the night of Qadr. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. And what will make you realize how amazing this night of power is? لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ الشَّهْرِ. The night of power is better than 1,000 months. Meaning things, deeds that are done in this night, you get a reward as if you did it more than 4,000. So more than 1,000 months, you continue doing it. Not just equal to 1,000 months, but more than 1,000 months. Okay, which is like 83 years. So in one night, so a prayer in Laylatul Qadr is equal to prayer for more than 83 years, as if a person was praying continuously for 83 years and beyond, or for 1,000 months. Or charity on the night of Laylatul Qadr is like as if a person kept giving charity for 83 years and beyond. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. And that night the angels and the Holy Spirit, meaning Jibreel alayhi salam, descend by the permission of their Lord for every decreed matter. What happens on Laylatul Qadr? All important matters of our next year is written down on Laylatul Qadr. who is going to live, who's going to die, who is going to be born, what risk a person is going to get. All of these are important matters are decreed on this night. Salamun hiya hatta matla'i al-fajr. It is all peace until the break of the dawn. Meaning, this is there is there is salam because there are angels until Fajr time. The whole earth is crowded, is filled with angels. Okay, it is a night that the whole earth is. This is why it feels so tranquil on the night of Laylatul Qadr. And we should seek Laylatul Qadr in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. There is no set date for it. Some people say some of the hadith say that it is the odd nights. Okay, but there is no, and again, we don't know which night is the odd night compared to when the moon was sighted or whatever. So all 10 nights we should seek Laylatul Qadr. So these are the nights these are important nights. These are the nights we need to be engaged in a lot of dua, a lot of ibadah, put away useless activities, put them away. One should not be engaged because we don't know that if we will be able to see next year's Laylatul Qadr or next year Ramadan itself. Okay, this is a time to really focus. Okay, with all the resources that we have, to put them towards the worship of Allah and diversify our ibadah, not just qiyam. Give charity, recite the Quran, take a break because it can get very exhausting. We're doing continuous prayer. So divide your night in a way before you're praying, some qiyam, then some part of a night you're reciting the Quran, then you give your charity, then you go back to pondering. Maybe you're just listening to the Quran, you're pondering. If you get exhausted, then you go back to qiyam again. So in this way, you can alternate and, of course, make a list of du'as. Still, there is few days left. Make a list of du'as that you want to ask, because sometimes when you put on the spot you don't remember the du'as. If you write the du'as down or type the du'as down, it'll be easier to remember. And what is a du'a that we should be saying even from the time of Maghrib? We should start Allah, or saying, in fact, the whole day, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'afu anni. Oh Allah, you are the most forgiving, you love to forgive, so forgive me. So let's all, Allah SWT make us, Allahumma ballagna Laylatul Qadr. Oh Allah, make us reach Laylatul Qadr, all of us, and make us engage in activities and, acts of ibadah. And most importantly, spend in His way, because these ayat, the surahs that we learned today, were all focused on charity. So inshallah, bismillah, we will end our lesson for today. And just a reminder that on Friday is our last session of Dawra Quran. It's actually our takmeel meaning the completion of the 29th and 30th juz that we did this entire Ramadan. May Allah SWT accept it from all of us. So invite you all to please attend, those online and in person as well. Please attend on Friday. This is our takmeel. We will complete the 30th juz and also have a dua. So please be present in the dua and also in the takmeel of these things. We have sisters iftar coming on April 9th, which is April 8th. So the flyers will be changed, but we have sisters iftar that is coming up on April 9th. Sisters iftar plus henna night. So sisters can get henna done plus iftar, and we'll also have a short reminder. So request any of the sisters, if they'd like to attend, please do so, and please let us know. Just RSVP with us. And if you'd like to donate towards the iftar, the feeding of the sisters, or helping to break their fast, you can do so at info@alfatinstitute.com. Another thing is the campaign for Gaza is still going on. It is so with Human Concern, we'll be donating. We'll be putting giving all of the funds to the Human Concern. So there's a link that was shared, and also there, so you could directly send it to Human Concern, or you can transfer to us, and we will be giving it to handing over the amount to Human Concern. And this is for Gaza. It is to fill the trucks, the 8 trucks. The food there is not readily available, and it's very expensive to purchase. Okay, in fact, for the trucks to enter, they have to give a huge amount of fee to the military or whatever to be able to enter Gaza. So it's not like a normal time where 8 trucks were just entering and leaving like that. It's very difficult for an 8 truck to firstly enter. They have to pay a huge, in thousands of dollars, they have to pay the amount just for the truck to enter. So this is the charities that we do is going towards that. Then to fill up the trucks, the food kitchens, the hot meals that they provide iftar for the fasting people, the children, food packages, shelter, the temporary shelter, the tents and stuff, and medical aid, of course. So all of this, is going for a really, really important and really good cause. So please, give your charities, give your sadaqat, and especially in this blessed month. Yes, of course, we give the rest of the year too, but this time, our charities are multiplied. And if we catch Laylatul Qadr and we give sadaqah, then it's like as if we're giving sadaqah for 1,000 months and beyond. $10. Imagine you've kept giving $10 continuously for 1,000 months. How much that amount will be like? And more than 1,000 months. It could be infinity. That $10 made into billion now, right? That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would count. So do not, and if the thought comes in the mind of giving sadaqah, do it right away, because we forget and then it just the moment passes. Whenever a person wishes to do good deed, they should do it right away. Okay, inshallah, bismillah. Jazakumullah khairan for everyone who joined today. And inshallah, we'll see you on Friday. It's our last session. It is our takmeel. So please, those who can, and who are in the vicinity, who are in the area, in the city, please come for our takmeel, which is happening on Friday. And sisters, iftar plus henna night will be happening on April 9th, Tuesday. Inshallah, bismillah. We'll end here. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.